Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's pick a pile reading is all about whether the person on your mind right now is the one. There are 3 piles for you to choose from. From left to right we have piles 1, 2, and then 3. Once you have picked your pile, head to the timestamp for it in the description below. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This oracle card sets the tone right away. Stand your ground tells us that this connection is testing your boundaries. Whether you're already involved with this person or just trying to figure them out, you're being challenged to hold your position, especially when it comes to your self-respect and values. You might be dealing with mixed signals or emotional inconsistency, and it's putting you in a spot where you're asking, is this even worth it? Their feelings may not be the problem, it's the way they're handling those feelings that's raising red flags. You could be picking up on the fact that they care, but they're not showing up in the way you need, or worse, they're creating confusion or emotional pressure. The message here is that just because someone feels something doesn't mean they're ready or capable of acting on it in a healthy way. Stand your ground also says, don't shrink yourself to fit their level of emotional maturity. If this person is unsure, avoidant, or passive-aggressive, you're not required to keep bending to keep the peace. You're being reminded that love isn't just about chemistry, it's about compatibility, consistency, and whether the energy is being returned. This card doesn't mean walk away without thinking, it means check yourself. Make sure you're not abandoning your own needs or turning a blind eye to behavior that isn't aligned with what you actually want in a partner. Their feelings might be real, but are their actions backing them up? At the heart of this card is power. You have more of it than you think in this situation. If you've been waiting on them to show you where they stand, it might be time to ask if you've already seen the answer and just didn't want to accept it. This card tells us things are not flowing naturally between you and this person right now. The Wheel of Fortune reversed usually shows cycles of delay, mistiming, or karmic patterns repeating themselves. You might feel like every time things start to move forward with this person, something throws it off. It could be distance, doubt, silence, or even outside stress. There's a feeling of being stuck in limbo here, like fate brought you together but now it's just dragging. And they feel that too, whether they admit it or not. Their feelings may be genuine, but they're also confused about what to do with them. That confusion is keeping everything from moving forward. You may be in a right person, wrong time kind of situation, or at least that's how it feels. They could be emotionally unavailable, not over the past, or even afraid of how strong their connection to you actually is. Instead of leaning in, they're freezing or pulling away, and it's leaving you feeling like you're spinning your wheels. This card also suggests that there's a lesson here. The cycle won't shift until something changes, either on their end or yours. You might be hoping things will work out eventually, but the energy right now is off balance. You're being asked to recognize when holding on becomes a form of self-sacrifice. If they're meant to come back around, they will, but not while things stay like this. There needs to be a shakeup, and if they're not the one initiating it, that might fall on you. This card confirms that the energy exchange in this connection is unbalanced. The Six of Pentacles reversed shows someone giving more than the other, and in this case, that might be you. Whether it's attention, emotional effort, or just showing up consistently, one person is doing the heavy lifting, and the other is benefiting without fully reciprocating. Their feelings might be real, but their behavior doesn't show emotional generosity. They could be the type to come close when they need support, but disappear when things get serious. Or they might withhold affection or clarity, keeping you guessing and always leaning in to make up the difference. That is not sustainable. This card also brings up the idea of emotional breadcrumbing, giving just enough to keep you there, but not enough to make you feel secure or valued. If this has been going on, you're not imagining it. You're being told to pay close attention to what you're getting back versus what you're giving. They may not be doing it maliciously. Some people genuinely don't know how to be emotionally available or give equally, but the result is the same. You end up questioning your worth and putting your own needs on the back burner just to keep the connection alive. Ask yourself this: are you in this because it's fulfilling, or are you in it because you're hoping they'll eventually meet you halfway? That question alone might tell you everything you need to know about where they're really at. This is the heartbreak card, and it's not pulling any punches. Whether it's past pain that's affecting the connection or something recent between you and this person, there's emotional damage here. Someone's carrying deep hurt, maybe it's even both of you, and that pain is bleeding into the relationship. Their feelings might be tangled in guilt, regret, or emotional confusion. If they've hurt you, intentionally or not, they're aware of it. They may not know how to fix it, or they may not be ready to take responsibility to even try. Either way, the wound is there, and pretending it's not isn't going to make it go away. There's also the possibility that they're still healing from something before you, and that baggage is making it hard for them to show up fully now. They may care about you, but if they haven't processed what's behind them, they're not equipped to give you what you need in the present. This card doesn't mean it's hopeless, but it does mean the emotional damage can't be ignored. Healing has to happen, on both sides, if this connection is going to survive. But that's going to take maturity, effort, and the willingness to sit with pain instead of avoiding it. You can't love someone through their healing if they're not trying to heal. At some point, it becomes less about them and more about what you're willing to tolerate. The reversed Ten of Swords shows someone who's not over a painful ending. This could be a past relationship that never fully let go of, or a recent fallout with you that they're still carrying silently. Either way, it's unresolved. There's emotional baggage that hasn't been unpacked, and it's blocking the progress. This card often shows someone who's trying to pretend everything is fine when it's not. They might act distant, cold, or even casual, but deep down, they're still wounded. Whether they admit it or not, they haven't dealt with what broke them, and until they do, they can't fully show up in a relationship. Reversed, this card also suggests the possibility of a second chance, but only if something truly changes. If you're both stuck in the same patterns, this isn't about trying again, it's about repeating the same hurt. That's why stand your ground is so important in this pile. If you're going to give this another shot, it has to be under new terms. You may also be healing yourself, and this connection might be making the process harder, not easier. If being around this person keeps reopening old wounds, you have to ask what that's costing you emotionally. Not every ending needs to be permanent, but if they're not ready to show up differently, you might need to be the one who chooses to walk away for your own peace. This final card seals the theme. The Chariot reversed shows a total lack of direction or control. The connection may feel like it's been drifting, going nowhere, or just plain stuck. No real progress, no decisions, no forward motion, and that's not because the potential isn't there, it's because someone isn't stepping up to drive it. This person's feelings may be real, but they're not acting on them. The Chariot in reverse says that they're either frozen by indecision, scared of taking responsibility, or just unwilling to do what it takes to move the relationship forward. They could even be sabotaging things out of fear that it won't work out anyway. You may feel like you're doing all the steering while they're just sitting in the passenger seat, or worse, dragging their feet when you try to move forward. That imbalance is frustrating, especially when you know there could be something real here if they'd meet you halfway. At the end of the day, a relationship only works if both people are willing to drive. Right now, they're not showing that, and the longer that pattern continues, the harder it becomes to keep the connection from falling apart completely. You don't need someone who's just along for the ride. You need someone who's ready to move with you, not hold you back. So pile 1, this connection has real emotional depth, but also a lot of emotional damage, stuck energy, and unbalanced effort. The Wheel of Fortune reversed, Six of Pentacles reversed, and the Chariot reversed all point to stalled momentum and unclear commitment. Meanwhile, the 3 and 10 of Swords shows unresolved pain that's not being addressed. It's no wonder you're feeling drained or confused. Your Oracle card, Stand Your Ground, is the key here. You have to protect your peace. If they're not stepping up, if they're keeping you in limbo or leaving you to carry the emotional weight, it's okay to choose yourself. Their feelings might be strong, but feelings alone don't build a future. This isn't about giving up on love. It's about asking whether this person is capable of showing up the way you deserve. Right now, their energy says, not yet. That doesn't mean they're a bad person, but it does mean you have to ask if they're right for you at this stage in your life. And if they really are the one, they'll rise to meet you, but you shouldn't have to lower yourself in the meantime. So that's what I'm getting for pile 1. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello pile 2, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card opens with a strong message. This person sees you. Not just in a superficial way, but in a deep, meaningful way that's tied to your value, your effort, and the energy you carry. They recognize what you've been through, how much work you've put into yourself or your life, and they genuinely admire it. Their feelings aren't casual, you've earned their attention. This is someone who doesn't just want to have you, they respect you. That's important because this admiration is often the foundation of a long-term bond. You come across as someone who carries your own weight, who's grown through challenges, and who isn't playing games. That energy makes a serious impact on them. They may not always express it clearly, especially if they're more action-oriented than emotional, but they do feel a kind of pride and awe around you. And when someone starts feeling that kind of recognition, it's usually a sign their feelings are turning towards something deeper than a crush. You might have helped this person see themselves more clearly or encouraged them, even indirectly, to want to be better. Whether you realize it or not, your presence has pushed them to think more seriously about what they want in life and who they want beside them. So before we even flip into the tarot, know this: they already think highly of you. The only question is whether their energy matches that admiration. This card shows that while feelings are real, there's also some internal or external conflict tied to this connection. The Five of Wands is about tension, competition, and resistance. That could be arguments between you, differences in priorities, or even other people being involved in a way that complicates things. This person might be torn between how they feel and what they believe is realistic right now. They could be fighting their own fears, expectations, or maybe feeling like they're not ready to fully commit, even though part of them wants to. This tug of war inside of them can create confusion, not just for them, but for you as well. There's also a chance that other voices or distractions are influencing their choices. Friends, family, or even work stress might be clouding their judgment. They know how they feel, but translating that into action is where the friction starts. That doesn't mean that they don't care. It means that they're overwhelmed by what it might take to pursue this fully. If you've been sensing hot and cold behavior from them, this card explains it. They're conflicted. There's passion, but there's also pushback, either from their environment or their own internal battles. That's why clarity might feel just out of reach. They're not out, but they're still figuring out how to win a fight that honestly might just be in their own head. This card confirms the delay. The Eight of Wands reversed shows a clear blockage in momentum. Where things might have been building or seemed like they were heading somewhere, suddenly everything slows down or stalls completely. That doesn't mean the connection is dying, but it does mean there's resistance to forward motion right now. They could be emotionally overwhelmed, trying to process their feelings in silence, or just hesitant to take that next step. If communication has dropped off or gotten unclear, this card shows it's not necessarily because they've lost interest. It's more that they don't know what to say or how to handle the emotional weight that's coming with this. For some of you, this might even feel like the classic almost relationship dynamic, where everything could click, but something always holds it back. That's what reversed Eight of Wands energy feels like. The attraction is there, the emotional thread is real, but the follow-through is inconsistent. This delay isn't permanent, but it is meaningful. It's showing that while they care, they're not in a position, mentally, emotionally, or even logistically, to match that care with consistent action right now, and that's something you'll want to watch closely moving forward. If they want this, they'll need to start showing it not just in how they look at you, but in how they move toward you. Right now, they're in a holding pattern. This is a powerful sign of relationship potential. The Four of Wands is about union, celebration, and building something solid together. It tells us that deep down, this person does see long-term potential with you. They imagine what it would feel like to share life with you, not just moments, but milestones. This could be picturing holidays together, shared goals, or even just that sense of coming home to someone who gets them. You represent comfort, stability, and emotional connection to them. And in the middle of all their chaos or confusion, that vision stands out as something they want, even if they're not quite ready to act on it yet. This also confirms that their feelings aren't fleeting. You've made a lasting impression. Even if they're hesitating or unsure of how to proceed, the emotional imprint is real. You're not just someone they're drawn to, you're someone they can see themselves with. The real question now is whether they'll choose to move forward with that vision or keep letting fear and pressure delay it. The feeling is there, the desire is there. What's missing for now is consistency. Still, this is one of the clearest signs that they're not playing around emotionally, even if they don't always act like it. This card brings us back to the emotional weight they're carrying. The Ten of Wands is burnout, pressure, and a sense of being overwhelmed. Your person is likely under a lot of stress in their personal life. or they feel like being with you would require more of them than they're currently ready to give. This doesn't mean that you're asking for too much, it means they haven't created the space to show up properly. And the longer they carry that emotional burden without doing something about it, the less energy they'll have to move the connection forward. They could be trying to hold everything together, career, obligations, old trauma, and they see this connection as something they want, but also something that they might tip the balance if they're not ready. That's why they're hesitating, not because you're too much, but because they're not in a place to handle anything extra, even if it's a good thing. That also explains the inconsistency. When someone's overwhelmed, even positive emotions can feel like pressure. They may pull back, not because they don't care, but because they're trying to survive their current situation. So ask yourself this: do you want to wait for someone to get their life together, or do you need someone who's all ready to show up now? Because right now, they're stuck between wanting you and being buried by everything else. Finally, we end with light. The sun is one of the most positive cards in the deck, and it shows that this person's feelings for you are warm, sincere, and full of admiration. You make them feel hopeful, joyful, and seen in a way that they may not have experienced in a long time. You bring out a softer, more open side of them. This card also confirms that despite all the tension, delays, and heaviness, you are a bright spot in their life. You represent possibility. You help them see things more clearly, even if that clarity is a little scary to them right now. The sun cuts through the confusion and says, "This is what you really want," and they feel that deeply. They may not be acting on it fully yet, but the warmth they feel toward you is genuine. You bring peace, excitement, and emotional clarity. That's why they haven't let this go, even if their behavior hasn't always matched their heart. The sun reminds you that you are the light in the situation, not just for them, but for yourself. If their delays and emotional chaos have made you doubt your own worth, remember, you didn't cause their confusion. You're just the one shining a light on what they need to figure out. If they're meant to rise to your level, they will, but don't dim your light waiting for them. So pile 2, this connection is complicated but full of potential. Your person sees you as someone who brings value, joy, and stability into their life. The 4 of Wands and the Sun confirm that their feelings are serious, but the 5 of Wands, 8 of Wands reversed, and the 10 of Wands show that reality. They're overwhelmed, stuck, or letting fear and pressure delay what they really want. The Recognition and Reward Oracle card says that they know your worth. They're not confused about that. The question is whether they're ready to match that value with consistent energy and real effort. You're not here to carry the whole emotional load. If they want you, they need to clear a path and start showing up. Because the love is there, it's just tangled in all the stuff they haven't dealt with yet. So that's what I'm getting for pile 2. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card kicks off with a clear message. This connection is not about rushing. Whether you're already involved or just starting to get a read on their energy, you're being encouraged to think long term. Patience and planning says the foundation for something meaningful is being built here, but it has to be built slowly and intentionally. You cannot take a shortcut. This isn't someone who jumps into emotions recklessly. They think about the future, about consequences, and about what it actually takes to make a relationship work. That doesn't mean that they don't feel anything. It just means that they're probably more calculated and careful in how they express it. If you've been feeling like they're holding back, it's not disinterest, it's strategy. Their feelings are unfolding over time, and there's a good chance they're watching closely to see how you handle things like tension, change, or uncertainty. They want to know that they're not just infatuated, but actually compatible with you in real life. So if the pace has felt slow or the connection has taken time to develop, that's not a red flag. It's part of how they operate emotionally. This card also suggests that the timing is playing a big role here. They may want to move forward, but they're trying to align their emotions with what's realistically possible. That shows maturity, not fear, and it tells us this person is serious. Not just about you, but about love in general. This isn't a fast flame, it's a slow burn connection, and it could turn into something solid if both of you stay grounded and honest about what you want. This card brings in a fresh, exciting energy. The Page of Wands is curious, inspired, and ready to explore. The person feels a spark with you. There's passion here, even if they're not throwing it all on the table just yet. They're genuinely excited by your presence, and it lights up something inside of them that they haven't felt in a while. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're planning a dramatic move, but it does mean they're paying attention. They feel potential, and they're interested in seeing where this could go if things keep unfolding naturally. Their feelings are developing steadily, and they're approaching it like someone who wants to learn more before jumping in too fast. There's also a playful side to this energy. They enjoy your vibe, your sense of humor, or even your outlook. Being around you makes them feel lighter, and they associate you with possibility, not pressure. That's the key. If you've been able to keep things fun without pushing too hard, you've created exactly the kind of emotional space they need to feel safe. At the same time, this card reminds us that they're still in the exploration phase. They're not checking out emotionally, but they're not trying to lock things down overnight either. They want to feel free with the connection, not boxed in. Respect that place, and you'll likely see the relationship evolve in a stronger direction. They're fired up, but they're still figuring out how much of that to share and when. Now, the tone shifts deeper. Judgment is a huge card for emotional clarity, decision-making, and spiritual growth. This person is not just casually liking you, they're reflecting on what this connection means. You may have triggered something in them, a kind of internal awakening. They're seeing not just you differently, but also themselves, their past, and what they truly want from a relationship. This card often shows up when someone is at a turning point. Maybe they've been hurt before, or maybe they've avoided serious commitment, but now they're reevaluating all of that. Being around you has made them think twice about the walls they've built and whether they're ready to let someone in again, but for real this time. There's also a karmic vibe here. It might feel like this connection came at the right time, even if nothing about it has been perfect. That's because it's showing them something they needed to see, even if they weren't ready. You're not just another experience for them, you're a mirror. Don't be surprised if this person seems a little quiet or introspective right now. They're not withdrawing, they're processing. And once they're clear on what they want, judgment tells us they will take action. This is a card of stepping up, not staying stuck. So if they've been distant or hard to read, understand this. They're not confused about you. They're figuring out how to become the person you deserve. Here comes the transformation. The Death card upright is major. This is someone going through deep internal change, and this connection is part of that process. It's not scary, it's necessary. They're letting go of something old to make space for something new, and that includes how they approach love and relationships. This might look like ending a toxic pattern, finally releasing a past connection, or getting serious about what they want their future to look like. The emotions they feel for you are pushing them to grow, and they can't continue doing what they've always done. That's powerful, but intense. It also means that parts of this relationship may feel heavy at times, even if you're not fighting or having problems. That's because growth hurts sometimes, but they're not running from it, they're moving through it, and they see you as someone who matters during this transition. You're not a side story, you're part of the change. This card also reinforces that they take this connection seriously. They're not here to waste your time. They know that if they want to be with you, they have to level up, and that process is happening right now, even if you can't see all of it yet. They're not afraid to change, they're afraid of losing something real because they didn't. This card confirms it. This person sees potential for something real with you. The Four of Wands is about union, stability, and shared joy. You're not just a passing crush in their eyes. You're someone they can see themselves building a life with, celebrating wins with, and finding comfort in. There's a feeling of emotional safety around you, and that matters deeply to them. Even if they haven't said much about it, they value that natural click, the sense that you could actually fit into their world. This isn't about fantasy, it's about compatibility, values, and building something that lasts. They might be slow to show it, but this card says that they're taking notes. Every conversation, every reaction, every shared moment, it's all confirming that this could be more than just a phase. They're not rushing, but they're not dismissing it either. This could also be someone who's been through instability before. That's why the idea of peace, connection, and shared celebration means so much to them. You represent that kind of possibility, and that's why they're holding on, even if they're quiet about it. At their core, they want love that lasts, and they're slowly starting to believe this might be it. This is one of the most powerful emotional confirmations you could get. The sun is warmth, joy, and total emotional clarity. This person feels good when they think about you, and that's not something they say lightly. You bring out a light in them that may have dimmed for a long time. You represent peace, fun, and emotional safety. Even if things haven't always been smooth, their overall energy towards you is incredibly positive. You make them feel seen, you make them feel understood, and most of all, you make them feel hopeful. That's huge, especially if they've had past connections that were more about drama than growth. They may not be ready to say all of this out loud, but that's not because their feelings aren't real, it's because they are, and they're letting it all sink in before they act. The sun says that their heart is clear, even if their head is still working out the timing and the steps. If you've been wondering whether this is all in your head, it's not. They feel it too, maybe even more than you realize. And even if they move slowly, their energy is aligned with something real, something warm, and something worth waiting for, as long as you're not waiting forever. They may not have told you how deeply they feel, but their light is already moving in your direction. So pile 3, this person is going through a transformation, and you are a major part of it. The Page of Wands shows curiosity and spark. Judgment and Death show emotional depth, accountability, and the kind of internal shift that changes someone for good. Then, the Four of Wands and the Sun confirm that yes, they feel joy, safety, and lasting potential when they think of you. Your Oracle card, Patience and Planning, ties it all together. They're not rushing, they're trying to do this right. That means slow movement, but not because they don't care, it's because they care enough to be intentional about how they approach you. They are still figuring things out, but their feelings for you are real, serious, and growing. If you can stay steady while they align themselves with what they already feel, this could absolutely become something long-term and powerful. So that's what I'm getting for pile 3. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time.